Tony Fernandes is the founder of AirAsia and AirAsia X, two airlines based in Malaysia, offering flights across the whole of Asia, as well as to Europe and Australia. Starting an airline has been a lifelong dream for Tony Fernandes. The idea came to him when he was at boarding school at Epsom College in England. How on earth did you get into this? Because you were in the music business to start off with.
Well, I had the idea actually, I don't tell the story very often, but I had the idea initially when I was sent to Epsom. And
at school?
At school. And I remember calling up my mother and saying, can I come home for half term? And she said, I'm afraid it's too expensive. And within that few seconds, I thought, wouldn't it be good to have a long-haul, low-cost airline? And of course, AirAsia initially wasn't. But my first ever flight on AirAsia X, I refused to do the launch to Australia and China, and everyone thought it was a bit odd. But I wanted my first flight to be London, Kuala Lumpur. And my daughter is now at Epsom College, and I made her wait for me at my old house, Holman, and I traced the journey. The only difference was I used to go to Heathrow and now I went to Stansted, but it was very emotional for me, 35 years on.
You sentimental old thing. This is about a sentimental journey, well, starting a low-cost airline just because as a boy you had a pang of distance.
Well, no, that was obviously crystallized in my thought, remained in my thought. When the music business failed to embrace the internet, I thought it was, game, set, match for the industry, and I quit. Not knowing what I was going to do. And I went up to Luton Airport, saw people flying to Barcelona for £9 in Paris. Well, at that moment, I said, I'm going to do this.
And you made yourself filthy rich in the music business, had you? You had enough to start an airline?
Not really. No, not really. It wasn't filthy rich. I started AirAsia with a princely sum of £250,000. But we were committed, and we said, a simple marketing theory, if you could make the cost of travel half of what it is, there's a huge, enormous untapped market.
What's the initial secret? Low enough costs so you fill the planes. That sort of very simple equation.
That is still the secret. It doesn't change. I mean, obviously there are elements of it, but having the lowest cost equals the lowest fares. And it's a classic economic theory, reduce the price and the demand goes up.
And that worked right from the start, did it?
Yes. I mean, I think we created a revolution. People couldn't believe that you could fly up to Penang or Kota Kinabalu in Borneo for the kind of figures that we were quoting. But with economic development, people want more and more choice. And, everyone in Asia, when you say Asia, people think of China and India. But really, in Southeast Asia, we have 600 million people. And in Indonesia, they have 17,000 islands. So there is a need for it, but it was too expensive.
What are you doing this for? Money? Respect? It's a bit of show business running an airline, isn't it? You get a lot of attention. Me interviewing you wouldn't happen if you were in a lot of engineering businesses, would it?
I suppose when you initially did it, it's, you don't think of the money because it's survival. It's a challenge. I love challenge. Why have I taken on Lotus Formula One? Because, it hasn't been done for 16 years. So let's go and try and do something there. And I never liked the ethos at Warner and many companies. I wanted to build a company that people enjoyed working in. Those are the two driving factors. I always say employees come number one, customers number two. Because if you have a happy workforce, they'll look after your customers anyway. If your employees know about your brand. Everyone talks about branding, but internal branding is the most important. Because if they don't understand the brand, how the hell are they going to sell the brand to the customers?
You also work on the ground or in the cabin 1 or 2 days a month. Mm-hmm. What do you learn from doing that?
Oh, I don't think you can be an effective CEO unless you get down to the ground. You cannot understand the operation, and you make some very bad decisions unless you work the floor. If you sit up in your ivory tower and just look at financial reports, you're going to make some big mistakes. And I think it's a necessity to get down to the floor.
And do you then change what's laid down in procedures?
Absolutely. I'll give you a very, very good example. When we moved from the 737 to the Airbus is slightly higher off the ground. And my guy said, we need belt loaders. It would have cost us about $1 million US. I said, oh, no.
Belt loaders, the machines that
Correct.
put the bags up higher level.
Correct. You know, we used to just put the bags manually into the cargo hold on the 737. I said, no, we don't need that. So when I was doing my next shift, the boys put me on the Indonesian flights. People who fly to Indonesia generally bring their house and their neighbour's house.
A lot of baggage.
A lot of bags. I almost broke my back in the process. And I said, wrong, you're right, we get belt loaders. And I could have made a decision, very wrong decision, damage a lot of people, and destroy the morale of the organisation at that level.
But you're here as the centrepiece, as the spokesperson, as the man with the red hat on, as the blogger for AirAsia and AirAsia X. You're dangerously in the middle of this, aren't you? It's leaning too much on you, isn't it?
I would completely agree, and I think, you know, one bad thing about Asian companies and family-owned companies and companies that have started by entrepreneurs is, when do they move? And so good leadership is to know when to go, and you only succeed as a good leader if you've transported someone else in and the company gets stronger. Then you've succeeded as a leader. You can be a great leader, you leave, company collapses, it's your fault. So I'm very mindful of that. And
but you're not going to go yet?
No, not yet, because we're 9 years old. And there's a few things more that has to be done. But lots of young people are coming in, lots of energy is coming in, and I'm very, very confident that when I do go and my sell-by date does come, the company will go from strength to strength, and then I would have said I've succeeded.
A piece of advice, please, to people starting up in a business, not necessarily the airline business. What do you do? What do you need?
Cash. I don't care what anyone says, cash is king. P&Ls, accountants can do whatever to make a P&L look good. How much money do you have in the bank? Number one. Number two, you've got to market. You know, AirAsia, we went out there, we sponsored Manchester United, we sponsored referees, we sponsored the Formula One team. Most people in AirAsia thought we were nuts. But you can't go from 200,000 passengers to 30 million just on love and fresh air. You've got to go out there and let people know who you are and what you stand up for. And the third aspect is surround yourself with good people. You can never go wrong with having good people. And then believe in your own ability to succeed, and don't let too many people push you off your dream. It's okay to dream. It's okay to have vision, because from some dreams comes some reality. If you listen to all the advisors and consultants, if people came and told me about the airline business, they would have said, don't start. So you've got to follow your own dreams, and you've got to be able to have ambition.